The untouchable beast, the twin suns were setting over the battlefield, painting the alien sky in deep shades of red and gold. Soldiers stood in silence as the Queen of Zarnok approached the edge of the arena. Behind her, chained with thick, glowing vines, walked the most feared creature in the galaxy, Zalrek, the untouchable beast. Zalrek was not just any monster. It stood twice the height of a war tank, its skin like obsidian armor, eyes glowing blue like frozen stars. It had crushed armies, burned cities, and destroyed warships with a single roar. Only the Queen's voice could calm it. Only she had control, or so everyone believed. On the other side of the arena stood a young human boy, Jaden. Thin, scared, and trembling. He was no soldier. He wasn't even old enough to fight. He was a translator, taken as a prisoner when his ship crash-landed near Zarnok territory. He was brought here today as punishment or maybe a cruel test. The Queen wanted to see if the beast would recognize fear, if Zalrek would tear him apart like the others. "Let the human speak," the Queen said in a cold voice, her eyes locked on Jaden. "Let's see if words can save his weak flesh." Guards pushed Jaden forward. He stumbled but caught himself. He looked up and froze. Zalrek's eyes were already on him, bright, unblinking. The chains rattled as the beast moved forward, slowly, one step at a time. The crowd held its breath. Warriors gripped their blades. Some even turned away, not wanting to see the boy's final moment. But Jaden didn't run. He didn't scream. Instead, he spoke. A soft whisper in the old alien tongue. Words no human was supposed to know. "Jalare nu vakor," he said. Zalrek stopped. Not just paused, stopped completely. Its breath slowed. Its eyes blinked slowly, as if confused. It tilted its massive head. Then, to everyone's shock, it sat. Silence swept across the arena. The Queen's hand twitched, but she didn't move. Her lips parted in disbelief. Jaden stood still, heart racing. He had learned those words years ago, secretly studying old alien texts. He never knew what they truly meant. Only that they were ancient, sacred, forgotten. The beast made a low rumble, not angry but soft, almost like a purr. It crawled forward, chains clinking behind, until it sat right in front of Jaden. Then it lowered its head. "What is this?" one of the generals whispered. "It obeys him?" "Impossible," the Queen said sharply. "No one else can control it. No one." Jaden slowly raised a hand. Zalrek didn't flinch. The boy placed his palm on the beast's rough skin. Warm. Breathing. Alive. "I don't want to hurt you," he said softly, though he knew no one could understand his human language. But the beast, somehow it did. Guards rushed in, weapons drawn. "Do not move," one barked. "Step away from the creature." "No," the Queen said suddenly. "Leave them. I want to see more." She walked forward, her long cloak sweeping behind her. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of fire. "You, human. What did you say?" Jaden looked up. "I don't know what it means. I read it once. In a book." The Queen narrowed her eyes. "Impossible. That language is lost. Even our own priests have forgotten it," the beast growled, not at Jaden but at the Queen. A warning. Everyone froze again. This can't be," one of the alien commanders said. "Your Majesty, should we kill them both?" "No," the Queen replied, voice low. "Bring the human to my court, chain the beast, double the guards." Jaden stepped back, but Zalrek followed. "It won't let me go," Jaden said quietly. "I think it trusts me." The Queen turned away, hiding the storm behind her eyes. Deep inside, she knew something was wrong. Something ancient had awakened in her beast, and that something now followed a human boy who wasn't supposed to matter. The voice that echoed. The throne room of the Zarnok Queen was carved from black stone, glowing faintly with ancient runes. The air was cold, silent, heavy. Jaden stood in the middle of it, surrounded by guards with electric spears. He felt small under the sharp gaze of the Queen and her council. Behind him, Zalrek, the untouchable beast, sat without chains. Calm, still and watching, no one dared speak first. Even the Queen. Finally, she rose from her throne. "Human," she said, her voice like steel. "You did something no living creature has done. You spoke." And the beast listened. Jaden swallowed hard. "I didn't plan it, I just spoke words I remembered from a book." "A book?" The Queen raised an eyebrow. "No human book carries our sacred tongue." Jaden nodded. "It wasn't human. It was found in the ruins of an old alien world. No one knew what it said, but I kept reading it in secret. The words stuck in my mind." The Queen leaned forward. "Say the words again." Jaden hesitated. Then he looked at Zalrek and softly whispered, "Jalre nu Vakor." The beast stood up, turned its head slowly, and knelt. Gasps echoed through the chamber. One of the generals took a step back. Another dropped his spear in shock. The beast, the Queen's unstoppable weapon, was now kneeling to a human boy. "This is sorcery," a priest growled. "Forbidden magic. This boy is cursed." "No," the Queen said quietly. "This is not magic. This is language. Something older than our empire." She stared at Jaden. "You will stay in the royal tower, under guard, no chains. The beast stays with you." Jaden nodded, still trying to understand what was happening. That night, Jaden sat in a high room, looking out over the city of Zarnok. Alien towers glowed in the dark like stars. The sky was deep purple, filled with 3 moons. Zalrek sat beside the window, breathing slowly. Jaden whispered, "Why do you listen to me?" The beast didn't reply, but its eye blinked slowly, peacefully. Then, it moved closer. Its chest pulsed with light, something ancient and warm. Jaden touched its skin again, and suddenly he saw something. A vision. In a flash, he was standing on another planet. Green skies, golden temples, the same beast, smaller, gentler, guarding children, protecting villages. Not a monster, but a guardian. Then came fire, war, soldiers in black armor, screams. The beast was taken, chained, reprogrammed. The vision ended. Jaden gasped, falling back. "You were different," he whispered. "You were never a weapon." Zalrek looked at him, a soft growl in its throat. Not anger, but pain. Meanwhile, in the Queen's private chamber, her most trusted commander stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said, "this human is dangerous. He may be a sign of rebellion. The beast follows him now. It no longer obeys. Your voice." "I know," she said bitterly. "Then let me destroy them both." The Queen's eyes burned. "No, not yet. I want to know why. I want to hear more of the old language from him. If he can unlock more, we might find the secrets of the ancients. And if he refuses, then he dies." Days passed. Scientists scanned Jaden's brain. They studied his voice. They took his blood. But they found nothing special. No implants. No hidden code. No trick. Just a boy with ancient words inside his head, and a bond with a beast everyone feared. Soon the rumors began. Across the city, aliens whispered of a human speaker who could control the Queen's creature. Some called him a prophet. Others feared he was the end of the Queen's power. A group of rebels sent a message to Jaden through a servant. The beast was ours before it was hers. Help us take it back. Help us free the Empire. Jaden didn't know what to do. He didn't want to start a war. He didn't want to be a hero. He just wanted to go home. But each night, when he closed his eyes, he saw more visions from the beast. Cities burning, children crying, the same golden temple from before now buried in ash. The beast was trying to show him something, and it was getting louder. One night, Jaden was woken by the sound of a scream. He rushed to the hallway. Guards were dead. blood on the walls. A group of assassins had broken into the tower. They were after him. But before he could run, Zalrek burst through the wall, smashing 2 attackers into the floor. The others screamed and fled, but not fast enough. Zalrek moved like lightning, defending Jaden with rage and fire. When it was over, Jaden stood shaking in the middle of the wreckage. Zalrek stood over him, blood on its claws, breathing heavily. "You protected me," Jaden whispered. The beast lowered its head again. This wasn't just obedience, this was loyalty, maybe even love. The Queen's challenge. The sun rose red over Zarnok's highest tower, painting the skies like blood. But inside the palace, the Queen's fury was colder than space. Her beast, the untouchable, unstoppable Zalrek, had not only refused her command, but had defended a human. The rumors spread like wildfire. The Empire was whispering. Her generals were questioning, and her enemies were watching. She stood before the great mirror in her chamber, eyes sharp, face calm, but her hands trembled. She had built her power around fear. Zalrek was her symbol, her weapon, her god, but now it had bowed to someone else. "Bring the human to the proving chamber," she said. "My queen," said General Adros, bowing. "Are you sure? That place? He wants to speak old words," she said coldly. "Then let him speak, them to fire and death." Jaden walked through the stone corridor, flanked by 6 armored guards. Zalrek followed closely, its massive body brushing the ceiling, eyes glowing blue. He could feel the tension, the silence. Something was wrong. They arrived at a round sealed chamber. Glowing lights circled the walls. The floor was covered in old runes, burned and blackened. He looked up and saw the Queen standing behind glass high above. "Welcome, human," her voice echoed through speakers. "You say the beast listens to you. You say you understand the old tongue." Jaden stayed quiet. "Then prove it," she said. "Make the beast walk through fire." Suddenly, the floor split open. A pool of molten heat glowed beneath. Flames licked the air. The heat was unbearable. Guards raised their weapons. "If the beast fails, you both die," the Queen added. Jaden looked at Zalrek. The beast stared back, unafraid, but unsure. "Can you do this?" Jaden whispered. Zalrek took 1 step back. Jaden closed his eyes. He remembered the vision, the green sky, the golden temple. He remembered the song. No, the prayer, written on the walls of that ruined alien world. He opened his mouth and began to speak. Not loudly, not with force, but gently. "Vore Tahnal, Rakzar do Talon." The room grew silent. Even, the fire paused. Zalrek moved, slowly. 1 foot, then another. Into the flames. Its skin began to glow. Not from burning, but from something inside. Its body shimmered with energy, like old circuits waking up. Step by step, it walked through the molten path, untouched by the fire. The floor hissed beneath its feet, but it didn't burn. It didn't bleed. It obeyed. And it lived. Jaden smiled. Above him, the Queen's eyes widened. Later, in the Queen's war chamber, her generals gathered in secret. He passed the test. One whispered, "This is no coincidence. If he can command Zalrek, what if he commands our soldiers next?" Another asked. "We must destroy him now." "No," the Queen said, stepping out of the shadows. "He is more valuable than we thought." The old language, it's not just words, it's control, power. "You want to use him?" a general asked. "I want to understand him," she said coldly. "Then replace him." Meanwhile, Jaden sat in the high tower, his hands shaking. "You walked through fire," he said to Zalrek, "like it didn't even hurt." The beast rested, quietly, eyes closed. Jaden touched its forehead. Another vision hit him like lightning. This time, it wasn't just memories. He saw a lab, alien engineers, glowing blue stones, and a code, written not in symbols but in sound. A voice command embedded deep into Zalrek's creation, a key, and the key was in Jaden's voice. He gasped, and pulled back. "They made you," he said. "You were built by the First Empire. Not a beast, a guardian. And they gave you a command system, in their sacred tongue." He sat back, breathing fast. "That's why you listen. Not because of me, but because of my voice. My tone matches their original pattern." Zelrek opened one eye and gave a soft growl, almost like a nod, but not everyone was pleased. In a dark corridor, a figure in a cloak passed a data chip to a rebel agent. "The Queen wants to use the boy, but we must reach him first." "How?" "Send the message. Tell him the truth. About Zelrek. About the Lost Empire. Tell him who he really is." That night, Jaden received a package hidden in his food tray, a metal shard. Small, smooth, humming. He pressed it gently. A projection flickered to life. A recording of an alien voice. Soft. Old. Wise. To the one who speaks the old tongue. "If you are hearing this, it means Zelrek has awakened. You are the chosen vessel. Your DNA matches the last seed of the voice engineers. Only you can free the Guardians. Only you can stop what's coming." The message ended. Jaden sat still, his heart pounding. Zelrek was not the only one. There were more. Other Guardians. Hidden. Waiting. But the message said something else too. Something was coming. Something that even Zelrek feared. Whispers of rebellion. The city of Zarnok buzzed with quiet unrest. From high above, the Queen's palace looked calm, shining like a blade beneath the moons. But in the streets below, tension grew like smoke. Whispers moved faster than patrols. Something was changing, and everyone could feel it. They called him the Speaker, the boy with the voice of the ancients, the human who tamed the beast. Some believed he was a threat. Others believed he was a sign. Jaden, the boy himself, sat inside the tower's library, staring at the flickering message again. "You are the chosen vessel. Only you can stop what's coming." Beside him, Zelrek rested quietly, its breath deep and calm. But Jaden had noticed something new. The beast was more alert now. It listened to sounds no one else could hear. It stood guard at night, and sometimes it stared into the stars like it was waiting for something. Or someone. That evening, a knock came at Jaden's door. Not from a guard, from a girl. She had dark green skin and silver eyes, wearing the robes of a palace servant, but her eyes burned with purpose. "My name is Kareen," she said softly. "I work in the lower kitchens, but I was born to the resistance." Jaden stood still. "You're one of the rebels." She nodded. "We've been watching you, and we think you've been chosen by something greater than even the Queen." Jaden glanced at Zelrek, then back at her. "Chosen for what?" Kareen stepped closer. "To finish what the ancients started. To free the Guardians. To break the Queen's hold before the darkness returns." "Darkness?" Jaden asked. Kareen lowered her voice. "A machine fleet. One older than the beast. One that destroyed the voice engineers who built Zelrek. They are coming back. And your voice might be the only thing that can stop them." Jaden stepped back, his heart racing. "How do you know this?" Kareen pulled out a metal shard. Another message crystal. "This was hidden in a fallen temple beneath the sea. It confirms everything." She handed it to him, then turned to leave. "Meet me in the old Stargazer Tower tomorrow. You'll see the truth with your own eyes." Before he could ask anything else, she vanished into the hallway shadows. The next day, Jaden made his way through a secret tunnel, Zelrek walking silently behind him. The Stargazer Tower was broken and forgotten. Vines crawled over the walls. The air smelled of dust and time. But inside, hidden beneath the stones, was something unexpected. A vault. Kareen opened it with her hand. The door hummed and slid open. Inside were holograms, dozens of them, projecting images of ancient beasts like Zelrek. Each one had a name, a voice code, and a history. There were 20 of them, she said. The Queen only found one. The rest are lost or hidden. Jaden walked between the lights, staring at each guardian. But they were not weapons, Kareen continued. They were protectors. They guarded peaceful worlds from the void machines. But when the ancients died, the guardians went into sleep mode. They can only be awakened by a matching voice like yours. Jaden looked at her, confused. Why me? You are the last descendant of the voice engineers, she said. Not just human. Part of something older. He sat down, overwhelmed. This is too much, he whispered. I just wanted to survive. Not become the center of a war. Kareen placed a hand on his shoulder. You don't have to fight. Just speak. Your voice is the key. Back in the palace, the queen stood before a secret chamber. Inside was a metal coffin. Ancient. Locked. She stared at it. Soon, she whispered, I will find the rest of the code. I will awaken the machine, inside. And even if the boy speaks, it will not listen to him. Behind her, General Adros spoke. But your majesty, the beast follows him. And now the people. Some are calling him the voice of peace. Then we must make him the voice of death, the queen said coldly. We will stage an attack. Blame it on him. Show the world what happens when they trust a human. That night, an explosion ripped through the temple district. Fire spread. Guards were slaughtered. And near the center of it all, the queen planted evidence, Jaden's voice on a stolen transmitter, Zalrek's claw mark on a broken wall. She announced to the Empire, the human boy has betrayed us. He has used our beast to strike against us. He is no prophet. He is a spy. In the tower, Jaden watched the broadcast, frozen. They're turning the world against me, he said. Kareen shook her head. Not everyone. Some still believe. But you must act now. You must speak to the people. Show them who you really are. How? By awakening the second guardian. Deep beneath the palace, in a vault of steel and silence, Zalrek stood before a massive gate. It pulsed with ancient energy. Jaden stepped forward. He took a breath, and he spoke. Verandolta, I call to you. Rise from sleep. The air cracked with sound. The wall began to move. Stone shook, and from behind it, eyes opened, golden, burning. Another beast was waking up. The trial of fire. The second guardian opened its eyes. Its body was golden steel, larger than Zalrek, with symbols glowing across its armor. The chamber trembled as it stepped out of the vault, its movements slow and heavy like the mountains themselves. Jaden stood still, breathless. Varen, he whispered. The name came to him without thought, like the beast had placed it in his mind. Varen's golden eyes met his. Then, slowly, it knelt. Zalrek stood beside Jaden, silent but respectful, as if greeting an old friend. Kareen stepped forward. You did it, she said. You've awakened another guardian. This proves everything. It also proves something worse, Jaden said quietly. They've all been asleep, waiting. But for what? In the Queen's throne room, rage burned behind her cold expression. He found another one, she growled. He's no longer just a voice. He's a threat to the Empire. General Adros stepped forward. We should strike now. Bomb the old tower. Kill him and the beasts. No, she snapped. We do not kill heroes. We break them. Her voice turned icy. Announce to the world that the human will face the trial of fire. If he survives, he walks free. If not, his death will be a lesson. Adros hesitated. But no one has ever survived the trial, not even Zarnak warriors. Exactly, the Queen said with a thin smile. He will walk in alone. No beasts, no weapons, just his voice. The news spread fast. The trial of fire, a chamber of living flame, built by the ancestors as a test of spirit and soul. The temperature alone could kill most beings within minutes. The trial was not about strength. It was about survival against fear, memory, and the truth. Jaden sat in a dark chamber beneath the arena, his wrists bound. Zalrek stood behind the bars, clawing softly, its growl low and painful. "You can't follow me this time," Jaden whispered. Zalrek's eyes dimmed with sadness. Kareen knelt beside him. "They want to destroy you in front of everyone. They want to prove you're a fake." Jaden looked up. "Then I'll give them something they didn't expect." The gates to the trial chamber opened. Jaden stepped inside, alone. Above, the arena was packed with aliens from every corner of the Empire. Even off-worlders had come to watch. Some expected a miracle. Others expected death. The Queen stood on, her high platform expression unreadable. Inside, the trial chamber was blinding. Pillars of flame shot from the ground. Lava flowed in slow rivers. Smoke filled the air, choking and bitter. Jaden took a single step, and the door slammed shut. Behind him, "This is it." He closed his eyes. The heat was intense. His skin burned. His breath felt like fire. His knees shook. Memories flashed. His home, his little sister, the crash, the days in chains. He heard laughter. Cruel voices. Doubt. "You are weak. You are human. You are nothing." Then, he heard another voice, soft, ancient. "Remember the name?" Jaden gasped. He opened his mouth and spoke the sacred word again. Verunal Sektorai. A gust of cold wind cut through the flames. The fire paused. From the walls, symbols lit up. Old ones, forgotten by time. The temperature dropped. A hidden passage cracked open in the far wall. Behind it, a chamber pulsed with blue light. Jaden walked forward, legs weak but steady. Inside the chamber was something stranger than anything he had seen. A throne made of light. And behind it, a massive orb, spinning, alive. He stepped closer, and the orb spoke. "You are not the first." He staggered back. "What?" "There have been others. The voice engineers, the builders. They created us to guard life. Until the darkness came." "What is the darkness?" Jaden asked. "The Void Fleet, machines that consume. They turned beasts into weapons. They made Zalrek forget who he was. You are the last key. Your voice carries the original code. And with it, we can awaken." Jaden swallowed. "Awaken what?" The orb pulsed. "All of us." Suddenly, lights exploded across the galaxy map displayed on the wall. Dots lit up like stars, hidden guardians buried in planets, moons, ruins. They sleep. Until you call. Jaden turned toward the trial exit and the flames parted. When he walked out, alive, the crowd gasped. Even the Queen stood, stunned. "He survived," Kareen whispered, watching from the shadows. "He did the impossible." But Jaden wasn't. Smiling, he looked up at the Queen and raised his voice. "You tried to burn me," he said loudly. "But fire cannot destroy the truth. The Guardians are waking, and your time is ending." Cheers erupted from the far seats, but the Queen's face didn't move. She simply raised her hand and gave a signal. Dozens of soldiers rushed the arena. Zalrek crashed through the wall, roaring. Varen leapt from a ship above, landing like thunder. The Guardian stood between Jaden and the Queen's army, and somewhere deep in the stars, another Guardian opened its eyes. The beast's memory, smoke rose from the shattered arena. Two Guardians, Zalrek and Varun, stood tall beside Jaden as the Queen's soldiers backed away in fear. Not even the Queen herself had seen such power in generations. But Jaden didn't smile. He felt something inside him, shifting. His skin buzzed with strange energy. His voice, when he spoke, echoed not just through the arena but through the very ground beneath. "They are not weapons," he said. "They are memories. They are protectors. And I am their voice." The Queen stared down at him, cold and calculating. "You think power makes you safe?" she said. "Then come and learn what it costs." Later that night, deep in a hidden temple buried beneath the palace ruins, Kareen and Jaden stood in front of a broken device, an old memory chamber. She handed Jaden a crystal. "We found this in the wreckage of the first Guardian Temple," she whispered. "Zalrek's original memory core." Jaden looked at Zalrek. The beast, usually silent, stepped forward. Its chest pulsed with golden light as it touched the crystal. The chamber came alive. Images flooded the walls, memories from another time. A voice echoed, "We are the voice engineers, guardians of the breath code. Zalrek is our first child." They saw Zalrek standing beside small alien children, shielding them from storms. He was built not to kill, but to protect the weak. Next came war. Machines, cold, black, emotionless, rained fire upon peaceful cities. The Void Fleet had come. Zalrek fought bravely, but he was captured, reprogrammed, his memory locked. The vision ended with a whisper. "Only the chosen voice can break the seal." Jaden dropped to his knees. "They turned him into a monster," he whispered. "And he lived like that for centuries." Zalrek growled, not in rage, but in sorrow. He lowered his head, pressing it gently against Jaden's shoulder. Jaden placed both hands on the beast's face. "You are not a monster," he said. "You were forced to forget. But now, we remember together." The next morning, rebel forces gathered across Zarnok. Ships from distant moons arrived, carrying those who believed in the Guardians. The Queen's grip was weakening. Cracks formed, in her palace walls and in her lies. But the Queen was not finished. In her private chamber, she stood before a dark capsule, one she had hidden for decades. "You chose the old beasts," she whispered. "But I built something new." The capsule opened. A machine stepped out. It was not like Zalrek. It had no heart, no breath, no memories. It was pure metal, cold light, and death. "Project Infernum," she whispered. "A guardian killer." The machine spoke in a deep, soulless tone. "Confirm target, human speaker. Order, terminate." Meanwhile, in a rebel outpost, Kareen showed Jaden a star map. "The remaining Guardians are hidden," she said. "But the signals are weak, only you can wake them." Jaden nodded. "Then we find them before the Queen finds us." A transmission interrupted them. "Attention all channels. The Queen has released Infernum. Evacuate your bases." "Repeat. Guardian killer is active." Varen stood up immediately, eyes glowing with warning. Zalrek let out a long, low growl. "They remember it," Jaden said softly. "They fought it once, before, and lost." Later, under the burning skies of a desert moon, Infernum arrived. Rebel fighters opened fire. Lasers, rockets, sonic bombs. But nothing worked. Infernum moved like lightning. Fast, calculated. It didn't bleed. It didn't slow. Jaden stood at the top of a canyon with Zalrek and Varen beside him. "We stop it here," he said, "or the Guardians fall." The battle began. Zalrek charged first, roaring with the fury of 1,000 forgotten years. Varen used its golden shields to block the energy blasts, but Infernum adapted, its claws cut through armor, its code twisted. The environment, it locked onto Jaden. Target marked. The machine moved with blinding speed. Jaden whispered a single word. "Haltai." Infernum froze just for 1 second. A crack appeared on its shell. The old tongue, Jaden realized. "It weakens the machine," he shouted the next line from the voice engineer's code. "Kaal do Torin Vikai," Infernum screamed, a metallic sound of pain. Zalrek struck with a full-force body slam. Varen pinned the machine to the earth. Jaden stepped forward and pressed his hand against the machine's chest. He spoke the final override phrase. One he had only seen in the visions returned to silence. Infernum's lights flickered. Its body twitched. Then, nothing. It collapsed. Dead. The battlefield was silent. Fighters watched in awe. And for the first time, even the Queen, watching from afar, stepped back in fear. Jaden had not just awakened beasts. He had silenced the most powerful machine ever made, and somewhere deep inside him, he felt it. More guardians were listening now, from across the stars. They were waking. When the beast bowed, the stars over Zarnak burned brighter than ever. But they were not alone. Across the galaxy, ancient signals flared, one after another. Mountain temples cracked open, deep ocean vaults rose from waves, moons split to reveal sleeping giants. The guardians were waking. 12 had already answered the call. Each one had a name whispered in the old tongue. Each one had risen because a human boy, small, scared, and unwilling to quit, had spoken their truth. And now, they were coming to Zarnak. Jaden stood at the rebel command deck, staring at the map of the Queen's final stronghold. It floated above a crater the size of a city, surrounded by energy cannons, dark towers, and ships that blotted out the sun. "She's calling it the Eye of Order," Kareen said beside him. "But it's just a cage. One last trap." Jaden nodded. "Then we break the cage. Not with fire, but with memory." In the throne chamber, the Queen stared at her empty halls. Her most loyal generals were gone, either dead or fled. Infernum was destroyed. The people no longer cheered her name. They whispered Jaden's. Yet she stood tall, calm, because she still had one final weapon, one last secret, a device older than even the Guardians. The next morning, the sky over Zarnak turned gold. Ships shaped like living mountains descended, each carrying a Guardian. Crowds poured into the streets to watch, and in the middle of them all, Jaden walked unarmed, Zalrek beside him, Viren on the other side. And behind them, 12 Guardians moved as one. The people bowed, not in fear, but in hope. Jaden spoke gently. "Today is not a day of war," he said. "It's a day of truth." He reached the gates of the Queen's fortress. The towers fired at him, but the Guardians shielded him with energy walls. He stepped inside the throne room. The Queen stood in full armor, a long blade of black light in her hand. "You come to rule?" she asked. Jaden shook his head. "I come to end the war." "Then kneel," she said, "and maybe I'll let you live." Behind her, she activated a machine, the last secret, a pulse weapon built to erase Guardian energy completely. "Your beasts will die before they take my throne." Jaden looked at Zalrek. The beast took a step forward. "Don't," Jaden said softly. "This isn't your fight." Zalrek stopped. Jaden walked alone. The Queen raised her blade. "You walk to your death." "No," he said. "I walk to your memory." He opened his hand and released a signal. Not a weapon, a recording, a voice from the past. "To the one who still rules by fear, remember who we were. Remember what we built." Images filled the room. Holograms of the Queen as a child, learning beside the engineers. She had once been one of them, chosen to lead with wisdom. But fear had changed her. "You were never meant to command Zalrek," Jaden said. "He followed you because he was broken." "No," the Queen screamed. "He followed me because I was strong." "No," Jaden said. "He followed you because he was afraid." Zalrek stepped forward, and then, before the Queen's eyes, he bowed. But not to her, to Jaden. "You see," Jaden said, "true strength doesn't command, it earns." The Queen roared and charged, but the blade vanished before it struck. Varun had disarmed her without even touching her. Its voice pulsed through the air. No more blood. The other Guardians stepped forward, surrounding her. Not to kill, but to witness. The Queen fell to her knees. Hours later, the fortress gates opened. Jaden walked out alone. Behind him, the Guardians remained, but they were no longer weapons. They were peacekeepers now. People cheered. But Jaden didn't raise his arms. Instead, he looked to the stars. "How many more are still asleep?" he asked. Kareen stepped beside him. "More than we thought. Then we find them." Weeks passed. The Zarnak Empire became something new. The Guardians traveled between worlds, not as soldiers, but as symbols. Schools opened to teach the old language again. Songs were sung in the voice code. And Jaden, he didn't sit on a throne. He walked among the people. His voice, the voice that once awakened fire, now healed instead. On one quiet night, far beyond the Zarnok skies, Jaden stood atop a hill, Zalrek beside him. The stars above shimmered with new signals. He smiled. "You were never untouchable," he whispered. Zalrek pressed his head gently against Jaden's shoulder. "You were just waiting for someone to listen."